Good afternoon. Welcome to N.A.M.E Online Radio with our special guest host, Mr. Steve Barron.
Good morning. Calling from N.A.M.E Radio Broadcast, the National Association of Male Executives. Listen, I am pleased to welcome today's guest. He's an industrial consultant, has impeccable credentials, was an assistant professor of physics at Quincy University from 1969 to 1975. From 75 to 77, served as a staff engineer with Motorola. Let me welcome today Thad Woronowicz. Thad, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, Mr. Barron.
Okay, terrific. Let me ask you this, and before we get into the reliability testing, which I know the public doesn't know much about, bring me back. Tell me what it is that brought you on this course in this particular industry. Take me back and give me some insight.
Well, essentially, as I was doing my assistant professorship at the Quincy University, I felt that I needed to do something different, needed to get involved in modern technology. So I was able to get a job at Motorola, and I did get a job at Motorola locally and worked with their consumer products division for a couple of years. At that point in time, they were just getting involved with changing over from tube technology to transistor technology, and they needed somebody like me to, work with them, which I did. I specifically spent a lot of time on their tuner development, both from the standpoint of design and manufacturing. And I did that for a couple of years, after which they indicated to me that they would prefer me to work with their automotive division, which was out in New York. So I went out in New York, and then I spent the rest of my time with Motorola in their automotive division, and eventually doing something involved with reliability, which we'll talk about a little bit later.
Okay, that's terrific. Now, I want to get to this. Now, I see here you have numerous awards for customer based on the development of high reliability of automotive electronics, affiliation here, American Society of Quality Control, President Society of Reliability Engineers for Western New York. Tell me more, and I don't think the public knows a lot about it, and I think it's important that you talk to me more about what is the reliability testing.
Yeah, I have my wall in my office is full of awards from companies like Ford and Chrysler and General Motors, etc. But reliability is the characteristic design of the ability to survive in the field in terms of its application. There are two ways parts will fail in the field: quality or reliability. Quality failures are manufacturing defects. Reliability defects are design engineering defects. And doing and finding quality defects are fairly easy. That involves setting up a process in your manufacturing to find those issues. But reliability defects are a bit more difficult because you need to understand how those parts are going to fail in the field. So what you need to do is you need to set up a testing pattern that is going to test these products to the application physics in the field. And that's basically what I did. I was made a senior staff engineer at Motorola, developed a $1 million laboratory to do this testing, and we did this testing on all of the automotive products that were being developed. It can become very complicated. You take your product, understands where it fits on the application, under the hood, or wherever on the vehicle, understand what kind of physical characteristics it's going to see in terms of temperature change, vibration, and those kind of physical characteristics, and then perform the testing on those units to determine whether or not there's going to be any failures. And you do that, find the failures. If there are going to be any failures, go back, do a design change, and then test again. And we were so successful that we were able to provide our customers, this is automotive, with zero reliability failures at 100,000 miles. And they were just agog at this, the fact that we could provide this kind of reliability for them, because it meant significant savings for them in terms of cost. Recently, I was working with a company that, because I've been doing consulting now, that had $27 million in warranty costs for a year. And I took a look at these failures, and they were mostly all reliability failures. And then I looked at what they were doing for evaluation as they did their design, and they really weren't doing too much. So I went in there and talked to their engineers, many of which did not have the capability to understand the physics of what was happening out there. And we got a lot of work done and a lot of success in getting those failures in the field to drop off.
Okay. Now, I know some of your career accomplishments here. Listen, during your tenure with Motorola Automotive Electronics, you operated a $1 million-plus reliability laboratory here, where you really developed all planning for product reliability designs. Let me ask you this: the automotive industry, and it's very interesting. I know that there are a lot of issues with vehicles, with recalls, and you hear it all the time. Is this because there is a lax in this reliability testing? Have we changed course here?
It looks like it has changed. When 30 years ago or so, when I was doing this, we were providing very high reliability for those companies that wanted high reliability. I mean, there were some back then that really didn't care that much, but we provided companies like Ford and General Motors very, very high reliability, and we worked with companies around the world, with Mercedes-Benz and Volvo and all kind of companies around the world with high reliability electronics. And what's happening now is something that I am just disturbed with, because I see, as I read articles, that there is a lot of issues with automotive devices, and they're having a lot of problems with defects. And it's like they're not performing reliability testing or reliability evaluation that was happening many, many years ago.
Okay. And obviously this is a preventive measure. I mean, ultimately, tell me, you'd be in a better position. What kind of cost savings do these companies potentially receive by going through the process of reliability testing? Tell me.
Well, I can estimate, this is just a general estimate, that for every $1,000 they spend, they'll save at least $10,000, maybe a lot more than that. But, for every $1,000, they'll save $10,000.
Wow.
My perception is, as I worked with some companies more recently, the top management really didn't want to spend the money up front. They just were, dropping off in their perception that they wanted to spend money at that particular point. And I believe that's why you're seeing a lot of these issues occurring in the field now, because there is no effective reliability evaluation and assurances that there's going to be high reliability of those components, primarily the electronic components in the vehicles. And
okay.
Most of these, a lot of these defects, you read about it, if you read yourself in the paper, a lot of these components are electronic systems, electronic modules. And, things that I worked with back many, many years ago were electronic ignition systems, electronic engine controls, electronic pressure sensors, and an entire group of probably about 20, 25 different electronic controls for automotive operation. And we provided very significant high reliability for those components. And back at that point in time, you didn't hear or read about those types of failures at that time.
Okay. We're speaking to Thad Woronowicz here. Has over 40 years experience in this particular industry. Now, I know you've worked with military suppliers, Boeing, Airbus, including Ford, General Motors, Chrysler, BMW, Audi. The list continues. Now that you've moved forward and you are now a private consultant, what is it that you suggest needs to be done and that you can offer to these companies as they reach out to you?
I can offer the strong opportunity, and I'll say this very empirically first, save them money. Okay, they will spend some money up front, which they have to do, but that will provide a much larger return in gains later in time relative to what they're going to be paying out in warranty costs. But I'm not really sure that they really think about that, that they really see that. They're just, a lot of times I go out there and these executives are more concerned about them spending money early in the process, and that's affecting their perception of them, that they're wasting money. They're spending all this money up front, and what good is it?
Okay. Well, listen, I understand, and listen, if you're spending money to create a better product that ultimately lasts longer, is obviously what you're looking to do. But it seems to me that there's potentially lives that can be saved here. I mean, we hear stories about...
there isn't any question about that. There is no question about that. That's,
correct?
Yeah, that's... if you put things in perspective in terms of what becomes most important in line, lives are most important first before cost. There is no question about that.
Okay.
And you see all of these advertisements on TV where these legal companies are telling people that if anybody has been killed or hurt or whatever based on failures of components in automotive, to contact them, and they will make sure that they receive compensation for that.
Sure.
So, the lives are important. Now, yes, there's money involved because it's not just that these companies are going to have to pay for warranty costs, but they're also going to have to pay for the costs that these legal companies are going to charge them for deaths and injuries of people that occurred because of the failure of